Hello, welcome to the video today. Hope you enjoy this. We're going to start with creating an HTML website. And HTML is what we used before we had PHP, just so you can get an idea of how all the pieces work together when you don't have the wonderful thing of PHP. Anyways. So the first thing I do is to create a file called index.html. This is my main file that comes up on my web server. And I have a local web server which is called WAMP server, and I'm going to put links to everything I use down in the comments to this video, so take a look if you want to try any of these things yourself. So the editor that I use is called Notepad++, and I love it because it's quick, it's easy. They update it like, I don't know, once every couple weeks or so, and it's been working out very, very nicely. Has a lot of wonderful features to make editing a web page very easy to do. What I'm viewing this in is in Chrome web browser. Chrome can be run on a Mac and on a PC, and the link for that is also in the comments below the video. So take a look and try anything you want. And I'll put my email address in there too. So if you have any questions about anything, just pop me an email and I'll be happy to help you out in any way I can. So the first thing we start with on our HTML file, the first line always says doc type HTML. And that is separated from the rest of the document by the greater than and less than symbols, which is we call angle brackets, and an exclamation point. And that's the way it looks. And this is for HTML5, which is 99%, I think, of all the documents that are out there on the internet that have been, published in the last 10 years or so, because it's been HTML5 for quite some time now, and there's a whole bunch of other versions that came before that, but you're probably not going to see that too much at the time. Then the very next line starts with the angle brackets and the key HTML, and that tells the web server that this is the start of HTML content, and that you will parse this out and do certain things with it that you wouldn't normally do with just a text document. You don't need all these things to have something thrown up onto a web server. You could type out something in Notepad, and what you type would end up appearing in the web page, but it wouldn't be formatted and it wouldn't have all these special key ingredients in it. And I'm going to show you some more things in a few moments and give you an idea of where we can go with all this stuff. So HTML starts and ends the content that we're doing, and the ending tag of any beginning tag is the same letters in the angle brackets, starting with the slash in front of it. So this is basically HTML means begin HTML, and slash HTML means end HTML. And then we have the head starts here, it ends right here. Within head is one command, which is title, and the title says page title, and you'll notice on the rendition of this that it shows the words page title in the tab above the page that we're looking at. So the page title is up here, and then we have an H1 tag and an end H1 tag, and that has within it the page heading. And this section down here is called the body section. And then we have the navigation bar, and I'm just labeling this so that we see where things would go. And we have like 3 components to our basic website, which is basically shows us the navigation bar would be showing right here, and we're going to play with that and do some interesting things with it. And then below that is whatever page content you want. So now I'm going to switch over to a different file and come into here. And open up that same file here, and you'll notice that this is, now I've changed was that one? I've changed the title to say My HTML Homepage. You'll notice that's what's now listed on the tab above the tab I'm looking at. And then I have welcome here for my heading of the home page. And then I threw in some links into what was the nav bar. So this is the navigation bar right here. So we have home, about, and contact. And below that we have just the words page and contact. Now what we used to do 20 years ago before PHP was around was we would set up a web page like this, and then I would save this as about and contact, so that I would then have my 3 pages on my website. So I'm going to do that right now. So I'm going to say save as about, and then I'm going to do save as contact, and now I have 3 pages that all look exactly the same. And now if I go on my browser and if I click on about, it does not give me an error, but it shows up the same content that I have. So if I do contact and change the content of it and change the heading of it, and then click on contact, you'll notice now it says, but this is what we used to do. We would sit and work on one page at a time in a separate file for each page. And it gets to be just a tad unwieldy. And then came along PHP, and then I'm going to show you the first thing we have with PHP. So this is the same page now, and we called this index.php instead of .html, and the fact that the extension of the file name is changed makes the web server go, oh, I can now do PHP code inside of this. So from this we're going to go, this is basically the same thing that it was in HTML right now. And if I go and open the next version of it, what I did here is to redo the coding quite a bit and changed it so that we have the ability to jump around from this is now being done inside one PHP file. All 3 pages that we had before in HTML are now within the same file. And basically we come down here and it starts out with the doc type HTML, the HTML tag, the head tag, and then within the head tag we put in the first little bit of PHP code, and this says to look for a variable called page being passed in from wherever it comes from. And if you find one of those, then get it. And if you don't find one, then assume you're on the home page. And then this is called a switch, which says if page is equal to home, run these 3 lines of code. And if page is about, run through these 3 lines of code. And if it's contact, then do these 3 lines of code. And that basically changes the content of our page. When I click on any of these 3 links, I'm looking at the exact same page, but the fact that my mouse over here says change the page, it shows at the bottom here. When my mouse is over it, the page equals contact, and here the page equals about, and here there is no page. So it does this and switches the content that's showing on the page all pretty much instantly. And now when I make changes to this page, if I wanted to add another page, I would come into here and throw in a new case statement and a new section on the case to have the title, the heading, and the content be filled in as variables, and then they would appear on the screen in place of all these different things, and throw in one more line here of a new link for the navigation bar. So it's as simple as that, and we get from 1 page to 3 pages within one spot. So I hope you enjoyed this video, and like I say, if you have any questions, leave a comment below the video and I will get back to you and as soon as I can, and or send me an email. I'll have my email address listed in the comment that I leave there for this particular session. So have a great weekend and see you next time.